Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Simna. I hope you are great. Came across this beautiful woman's video where she is talking about colonizers and how they are all around us. And what she actually said is true. She gave illustration that actually popped, right? Now, let me say this. I love the fact that people are also beginning to understand that colonizers are in different forms. Like, I can't suffer from these people and also come and suffer from people that I'm not supposed to break my head around. Yeah. One thing is that when they come into a space, they want to dominate. They want to take it, like they want to be in charge. Why? Because it has always been in their nature to always, they are always the savior. They want to save, they want to be in charge, they want to do everything. All right. And a woman of color also gave an example of how they want you to dance to their tone when they do not want to dance to your own tone. That are the people she also works with. They don't know anything about her. They don't know her culture. They don't also probably do not know a lot about where she comes from and all that. They don't celebrate her. And she is always celebrating them, being in their spaces and all that. At some points, nobody will tell you that you are not wanted here, because when you see people that want you, you see people that want to be with you, they will definitely be part of what you are doing. Let's get into this video.
I saw a video saying that white people and black people are not friends because most of the time white people are not willing to go to black spaces and share their cultures with them. White people are normally only okay with having a black friend as long as that black friend is fully dissolved in whiteness and only goes to the white spaces and white events with them. And as a person of color who's living in the United States and has been in lots of white spaces, I went to school. I was in a very white centric state, and I went to school and I married one, and I have worked with a lot of and I have really lived amongst them. And as a person of color, I want to tell you that for a long time, I felt like I was really accepted amongst the white people, but then I realized I'm only accepted when I act like one. Like my white family, my white coworkers, classmates, friends never ask me about my origin, never want to know more about my culture, never celebrate my events with me. They just want me as long as I don't show 1 ounce of non-Americanness. And I'm only accepted and included when I'm acting like one, not my wholeness as a woman, as a person who's not from this culture is not accepted. And I find the white liberals the most insufferable group because they think they're doing so well. They think they're doing so well. They can't, like, I find them the most ignorant one because they are so assured of themselves that they've done well. They don't even question how they might appear to other people. They don't question that.
Colonizers exist all around us. That spirit, because it is a spirit, is so alive and well. And I'm so thankful to people like Ryan Coogler and Kendrick Lamar for waking it up and reintroducing the idea into our modern conversation. Ryan Coogler did it first with the Black Panther movie, where she, called the Winter Soldier a colonizer, and people was like, "Oh, ha ha ha, so funny." But on some real shit, he really did plant a subconscious seed, and then he watered it with sinners. In Black Panther, he named it. In Sinners, he showed you what it looks like. And Kendrick Lamar revealing Drake to be the colonizer that he is, that was so important, because a lot of times when people talk about colonizers, they talk about it as if these entities are in the past tense. And they'll say, like, oh, when the colonizers did, or when they colonized, or when they were still colonizing, but they never stop. These spirits exist everywhere, and they don't just wear white skin or American skin. Like, colonizers can embody anybody. They're everywhere. And I hate them. I hate the fact that I am made to coexist alongside people who want me to be their mirror. Because colonizers have a very weak, flimsy sense of self, if they have a sense of self at all. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they're here for. They don't know why they were made, you know? And so it makes them really uncomfortable to exist in the world because they feel like the world is filled with people who have a purpose and are rubbing that purpose in their face because they feel insecure about the fact that they don't have a purpose. And so, you can interchange purpose with a lot of different words. Have a spirit, have a personality, have style, have love and connection. Like, a colonizer fundamentally wants what you have. And they hate themselves for not having it and hate you even more for having it. And there are big examples of colonization that people are familiar with. Gentrification is one of them. But there are small examples that go under people's radar all the time. And what they do is that they move in like a cancer. There are two different ways that colonizers present. One is a cancer, one is a succubus. The effect is the same. So it really doesn't matter how they're presenting because the effect and the energy is the same. But the cancerous ones, they move in when a person or an ecosystem is at its weakest, and they move in like weeds or like a virus. They plant roots and they invade and they take over everything until 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that ecosystem has been bled dry of all of its original color and livelihood and history and culture. And now it exists as an entity that is just as vapid and easily replaceable as they are. That's what gentrification is. But it also happens in relationships, and I see it all the time. And you guys call it boyfriend air, and you make cute little TikTok trends about it and say shit like, oh, I'm never getting in a relationship again because this is how my last boyfriend had me looking. And then you look like Boo Boo the goddamn fool because you let that man colonize you. He colonized you. He moved in, whether physically moved into your space or emotionally moved into your heart or mentally moved into your mind, spiritually moved into your body and took the fuck over. And it's not that you look busted and broken ugly. It's that you now are the physical embodiment of who he is on the inside. He turned you into him. I saw one girl on here, she was crying and shaving her head after a bad relationship with a man. Yeah, that's how he feels on the inside. He turned you into him. He moved in, bleached and sucked out everything that ever made you you. And because you weren't strong and self-possessed enough, I don't want to say strong, I want to say self-possessed. You weren't self-possessed enough. You didn't have enough autonomy to stop him or to clock what was happening. So you melted into him and you became him, and it damn near killed you. That's what colonization looks like. It is the enforcing of your will on something that doesn't want it. Most parents colonize their children, refuse to allow their children to be their own independent people because they want their children to reflect who they are because they have a weak sense of self. So they need their children to validate their self-image. Colonizers need mirrors. They want to live in a hall of mirrors, really. That's what they want. They want to live in a hall of mirrors because they're terrified of anything that threatens to reveal how insecure they are in themselves. And that's what your boyfriend does, or that's what your girlfriend does, you know? And rape is a really good example of colonization. It is literally the colonizing of another person's body, because all colonization happens against one's will. The same way that like a person will get cancer, and then after a year or two or three, or hell, even after a few months, that person looks like the cancer they have. That's what colonizers do. So that's that type. Another type is the succubus. And this is where it gets really sneaky. This is where it gets really weird. It's because you can't always tell it's happening when it's happening, because at first it looks like appreciation and admiration. Oh my God, you're so inspiring. Oh my God, this is so incredible. I just want to be here. I just want to be a part of it. The succubus colonizer is what Ryan Coogler was trying to show in Sinners. That's what he was trying to show. The cancers, they want to invade you and take you over and force you to look like them, force you to assimilate, force you to speak their language, right? We see this all the time. That's the one that most people are familiar with. It's the reason why when you have a TikTok video of somebody that came across a stroke of good luck or good fortune, or something saved them at the very last minute, and you go to the comments and somebody says the universe was really looking out for you, and then somebody responds to that comment and says, "You mean God?" And that's exactly how I imagine they say it. "You mean God?" Meaning, use my language. Universe is not the language you're supposed to be using. I want to colonize your language as a Christian, because colonization and imperialistic attitudes are baked into my religion. So you should be using my language. And I've never ever seen that type of behavior from a Muslim person, from a Jewish person, from a Buddhist person, from a Hindu person. Christianity is particularly colonizing, because they require the entire world to reflect back at them who they are. That is a particular type of cancerous colonization. And they're so deluded that they think that if you don't agree with them trying to colonize you, that means there's an evil spirit in you and you need their colonization even more. So that's the cancerous one, right? But the succubus, they don't necessarily want you to reflect themselves back at them. They want to be you. And like I said, it starts out fine. "Oh, I'm so inspired by you. Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, this is amazing." It's like when white people first started getting into hip hop, and black people were like, "Oh shit, white people like this too. That's kind of cool." And then 25 years later, we have Drake. 25 years later, we got all this mumble rap bullshit. They bastardized the fuck out of the genre. And there are a handful of people, mostly women, who are keeping the heartbeat of hip hop alive, and it will revive back to its original state. But those succubus colonizers infiltrated that culture, started dressing like rappers, started talking like rappers, and now we got a bunch of Gen Z white kids using AAVE that they don't understand, did not grow up around, and sound stupid using, because they want to be you. Because they can't be themselves because they have no self. Their sense of self is non-existent or on life support. And these are the ones that you really have to watch out for, because they will pretend to be your friend and your fan, all while they have a tentacle sucking the life out of you, and you won't notice until they're gone. And I take colonization so seriously. I'm so passionate about this subject, and it grinds my gears so bad, because I have always been an extremely self-possessed person. I have always had a very strong sense of self. That sound, Maddie knew who she was from a very young age. Never used the sound, never had to. I don't have shit to prove. I legitimately knew who I was from a very young age. Like, for real. On some real shit. And I take particular offense when people try to impose their identities, their emotions, their will, or their beliefs on me. I hate that. That's why I've been single for most of my life. Like, I've had boyfriends here and there. It never stuck. I broke up. The longest relationship I've ever been in was 2 years. And I had to break up with him. I had to. Because it freaked me out how our identities were starting to mesh. I don't like that. I don't want to be a we. I want to be an I, a me. And yeah, we broke up for multiple reasons, but mainly I felt like I was too young to be in a committed relationship because I had not yet dug my heels into my own identity enough, and therefore had no business trying to attach myself to his. And I hate colonizers because their audacity and their obnoxiousness is so affronting and so violent to me. You will never, ever be able to tell me who I am. You will never, ever influence me. Never. Like, I will never bend to your will. You will have to take me off this earth first. And that's why I'm single, and that's why I don't have as many friends as I used to, because I legitimately cannot do it. And that is how you defeat the colonizer spirit. That's how you repel it. That's how Sammy repelled it in Sinners. You have to refuse to allow these people to impose their will on you. Your will has to be ironclad, and it has to be stronger than anybody else's in the room. You have to be so self-possessed and so unapologetically authentic that those lower vibrational energies can't even touch you without getting zapped or shocked. That's how you defeat the colonizer. But the most important part is to be aware that they are here. They never left. It is a spirit, and you cannot destroy or create energy.
This is all I got from this video. And like you said, colonizers are among us. They are also around you. And you just have to open your eyes to see it, especially those that are smart and wise. But if you are not smart, you dance to their tune. And one thing I have noticed or I have been doing is that I don't dance to people's tune, especially when you understand what they are up to. That's why you really have to move fast too and smart. When you notice them, you move. And like this woman said, she's a person of color, and she is willing to celebrate with them, but nobody's willing to celebrate with her. Is that not enough? That is huge enough for you to know where you are supposed to be and where you are not supposed to be. It means that tie, there is no need keeping it. Just cut the tie so that everybody can go on their way, celebrate what they want to celebrate. Then you celebrate what you want to celebrate. Stop giving people power also. I love how this black beautiful woman explained. She explained it and also used relationship to illustrate it and crown it all. Sometimes you give people so much power that they do not deserve to have over you. Why would I give somebody power over me? Oops, sorry about that noise. My phone fell. Why do I have to give you all that power over me? These people actually know what they are doing. But one thing I love about my people is that they are smarter than them. They always outsmart them. That's why my people don't. There are spaces my people don't like being. There are spaces my people do not want to be in. There are spaces they do not want you even around too, because it is their space and no other person should come into that space. I love how black people, I love how they create boundaries. I love it. I will draw the curtain here. Bye for now.